Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel where stories and other random things take center stage and imagination is prized above all. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning and will continue to have a wonderful rest of your day. So, welcome to today's video and the first Saturday video of December where I will be reviewing Yuri on Ice. I first heard of Yuri on Ice through Anime America and she had great things to say about it. Like Robin had great things to say about it and I was interested in it. Found it on Funimation, clicked watch. It's a 12 episode anime. Totally worth the time. So Yuri on Ice follows Yuri Katsuki, I think is Katsuki, I think is the last name. Who basically ends up who is a figure skater, and after his last tournament where he was basically defeated or lost, he decides to go back to Japan to I don't remember the town name, but basically he goes back to his parents where he has a hot springs in, and he ends up skating to try to get his love back. He goes to skate in his friend Minako's place. He's allowed to skate there whenever, and he ends up skating his role model's routine, and his like the guy he looks up to his name is Victor Nakivara. He is a Russian skater, and he's like the most famous, and he looks up to him. And somehow these kids managed to perfectly record it and upload it to YouTube, and the video goes viral, catching Victor's attention, and he just shows up in his town and just goes, "Hi Yuri, nice to meet you. Starting today, I'm going to be your coach, and you're going to win the pre-finals." I was just that was by far the most impressive part of the anime. I just found the introduction hilarious. But so he becomes Yuri's coach. However, another Yuri Plasetsky from Russia, sees this and gets kind of angry because Victor promised him that if he won his juniors, his junior division, he would design a program specially for him in order for him to debut at his the senior divisions, right? So he goes to Japan and wants to basically make Victor keep up his promise, who he seems he had forgotten. So Victor ends up designing a program for both of them, and whoever wins, he would basically end up coaching. So if Yuri Plasetsky, who we're gonna if Yuri Plasetsky just wins, he would go back to Russia. But if if Yuri Katsuki wins, he would be his coach. And the competition happens. Yuri K wins, and Yuri P ends up going to Russia with so that's basically. And then now Victor becomes Yuri K's coach, and they he basically starts that, and we kind of see the progression of that, and we see him in the competitions and everything like that. This is a really, really great anime. I do have a critique for this, but this is like a really great anime. It's really interesting. I have actually, fun fact, never watched a sports anime, and at least that I was aware of, and I loved this one. I was mainly drawn in because of a romance, because I understood it would be a romance, and I was in the mood for romance, so I'm like, Yuri on Ice it is, and I was really into the idea of this, and we kind of get the romance, but it's not like in your face romance. You kind of see the progression of how their feelings end up like, we see the progression of their feelings, right? But we also see the progression of the characters and everything that comes up. We see the progression of the characters and how they first become friends before the romance comes up, and how Victor has a lot of confidence. Like, he has a lot of confidence. This man just like tells you things. He has a lot of confidence. But the thing is that they both have to work on something. Like, Yuri gets very anxious, especially when he loses. He gets very anxious and very nervous. But Victor is not the most motivating coach, and he does not know how to motivate Yuri K. And at some point, he literally asks him, what do you want me to be for you? Like your father figure, your brother, or whatever? Like, I don't know what to do when you go like this. And he's like, just be, who you are. And it's like, okay, and like he doesn't know that. And he's like, you don't. And there's a point where he is. I think there's like a scene where he's growing anxious and everything, because it's like a really big thing. It's a really big competition that's happening at the time, and he, he's like, Yuri should, like, he decides to tell Yuri that if he messes up, it is partially his Victor's responsibility, and he will resign as his coach. But he's like, which makes Yuri kind of open up in a way, but also, get kind of like, why, it's a very uncomfortable scene, and then Victor's like, I'm sorry, I did not mean it. It's like he wanted to help, but he's like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. He's like, you don't necessarily have to say anything. Just watch over me and have more faith in me than I do, that I'll win. So Victor kind of is the kind of person who is he's supportive, but he doesn't know how to motivate. And he learns how to support Yuri, but he also meets people halfway. Like, we see flashbacks of Victor as a figure skater where people are just like, where he meets people and it's like, oh, good luck, it's great. And there's even a point where there is someone who looks up to Yuri K, and Yuri doesn't know, is acting kind of aloof, like, oh, okay, like, you know what I mean? He's not reacting well, and he's like, if you cannot even motivate someone who, like, you can't, Victor's like, he's like, I'm disappointed because you can't even motivate someone who looks up to you, right? And then after that, when this kid is performing, he's like, good luck, and he cheers for him and everything, and it's a very interesting dynamic, because we see Yuri K trying to develop confidence. Like, we see him kind of develop his confidence with Victor, who pushes him but also meets him halfway. And then we see Victor attempting to understand how to communicate with him, and we learn that, and we learn a little bit of Victor about how he, like, he took a break, but he hasn't fully been living life. Like, he has just been focusing a lot on the sport, right? He hasn't fully been living life. And we see him kind of trying to live life and everything. I'm not going to spoil this anime, not even like my favorite moment, but I will say that it is an anime that you should experience. This is why I'm not even going to spoil it. But you see how well they are with each other and what the chemistry is like. Because, like, Yuri K definitely feels better when Victor is there. And Victor kind of knows how to communicate with Yuri K, and it's really great. It's adorable. Like, they're the way that they ended up is even better. I loved the ending, and the way that it turned out. And by the way, fun fact, the main sports commentator in this anime is voiced by Sonny Strait. I think I figured that out in like episodes 2 or 3, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is Sonny Strait. And I was like really into that, because that was Sonny Strait. I like Sonny Strait. I really do like his my favorite characters he voices are definitely Krillin in the Dragon Ball series, and I really like his voicing of Koro Sensei in Assassination Classroom, and he also voices I think it's May Hughes or something like that from Full Metal Alchemist. His voicing is good. It's good. It's amazing. So yeah, the main commentator is Sonny Strait, guys, in the English dub. So that's amazing. So yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, we see their dynamic. The character dynamics here are amazing. Even the other characters that we barely know about, like they're like the way that they describe their like routines and how they and the feelings that they put into their skating routines is amazing. I did love it. It was really good. I also like the dynamic with Yuri P, because he kind of like already has, he has a very high overconfident level, but he also learns other things, you know, he also learns some things along the way. And I think that is awesome. Every character should learn something. So I definitely enjoyed it. I love the ending. My only critique is I would have loved to learn more about both Yuri's and Victor, about like their pasts or whatever. We don't know too much about Victor's past. We don't get a lot of backstory on the characters. It's more focused on the now. And that's great, but I would have loved to see more backstory. That's actually the only reason I gave it a 9 in my anime list. I would have loved to see more backstory on those characters, specifically those 3, just because the others are mainly like just side characters that kind of show up. But I would have loved to see more backstory on them. So that is the way I'm seeing it. So if you, definitely recommend Yuri on Ice. I will definitely recommend this all the time. So yeah, anyway, I will see you I will see you next week. I don't actually know what the video will be for next week. It might be Bridgerton season 1 or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The first arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood, I think it was called. Or it could also, I think these are the main 2. It could also be something else, but those are the 2 I'm thinking are going to be for next week, but I am not too sure necessarily. So yeah, subscribe if you're interested in my content. Let me know what you think about Yuri on Ice. Do you like it? Do you love it? Are you just okay with it? Do you hate it? How do you feel? Let me know everything. I want to talk about Yuri on Ice. Wait, actually, no, that's wrong. I do know what next week's video is. It's recommendations for after Yuri on Ice. Oh, how did I miss that? I haven't been making recommendations video in a little bit, so yeah. So I will have another Yuri on Ice video where I'm going to recommend some anime to watch after. And yeah, so I'll see you then. See you next week with my recommendations. I was wrong. I thought it would be something like Bridgerton or JoJo's Adventure, but I was wrong. It's going to be after that. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you next week. Until then, consume stories. Bye.